There's 3 nuts on top. This lifts off. There's a shaft adapter inside. You change out the shaft adapter to whatever motor you're switching to. And then there's 4 mounting bolts that actually go into the face of each power head. You put it back together, drop it right on, and you're changed. It's a 2-3 minute job to change it. 5-gallon reservoir. It's very important that you use the correct fluid. Very specific pump and pressure relief system inside. So it's Exxon Mobil Univis HVI 13 or Shell Aero Fluid number 4. It's in all our literature, and now on the new boxes we put it right on them. Inside is a 10,000 PSI 2-stage hydraulic pump. 2-stage meaning it'll be flowing at about 6 liters per minute when it's unloaded, up to about 400 PSI. That's when it's either traveling in reverse or when it's first going down to take up the load. At that point, it'll trip to the 2nd stage, where it'll be around 1 liter per minute, so you'll see it go noticeably slower, but it'll allow it to build up to 10,000 PSI. Now, off of that power unit, off that pump, there's 2 different relief valves. There's a 515 high pressure relief valve. That's basically the fail-safe. It trips at 10,000 PSI, but doesn't normally actuate when you're working with it. The second one is the 06300 pressure-matic valve. That one's an adjustable pressure relief valve that basically, once it trips, it'll stay open and allow you to walk over and change the command valve without it being under any load. Again, pumps at 7,200 PSI, so that's what the actual cylinder is rated for. Now, that being said, it's very important to consider these high pressure hoses with hydraulic injection and everything. You don't want to be grabbing onto the hoses while it's under load. You want to kind of stay away from them. All the way through there. Then we got all the pieces on the actual cylinder itself. Now, every cylinder, C2, C9, C12, will have at the top a command valve. They're all the same command valve. So this piece is identical to this piece. Then you have the upper cylinder shell. This is what the actual piston and piston rod are running in. It's just like a regular hydraulic cylinder. Then you have the lower cylinder shell that threads into the upper cylinder shell. The piston rod passes through, there's a hollowed out area inside, and there's a piece called the guide ring that basically centers that piston rod in the lower cylinder shell. That lower cylinder shell has a slot inside where your center piece called the plug connects into with a plug pin. All right, so that's all tied together with the piston rod and the guide ring right up to your piston head. At the bottom on the business end, we have these 4 pieces here. These are called wear bars. These will pass all the way through the lower cylinder shell, and that's what the actual feathers ride on. All right, I'm gonna pop one of these feathers out now so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. That's what the feather looks like. All right, the inside has a titanium alloy inlay. I was talking inside about the gating of the metal, and you'll see these little cracks starting to form in here. Once these cracks start to actually form chips out of it, then you know your feather's pretty much going to break soon. Can last anywhere from 50 to 5,000 holes. It's all about how straight your holes are.
Say 1 to 5,000.
1 to 5. Yeah, that's a little better. So yeah, that's pretty much your feather. Most of the time when they're being used in really hard work, the feather will actually break up here. That's because the rock will shift under extreme load and it'll snap, like pull the feather apart. So that's pretty much it. So that goes in, all the way in between these wear bars, and then it's just a wiggle and turn, and you drop it down. Inside here, you got the feather lock levers. These are spring loaded. These will help keep the feathers tight against the plug when you're trying to put it into a hole, all right? Now, these springs will wear out in time, especially if guys aren't keeping this area somewhat clean. Once a day, clean it up, and then it will make these kind of floppy and make it really hard to put into the hole. So just keep these clean and well maintained. All right. Any questions on that part? That pretty much it? All right. So greasing. A lot of guys will take a lot of this grease and kind of slap it on. You don't need a lot. It's like a very thin film. Do not use any other kind of grease besides the Elko grease. It's specially designed for the splitters. My old man tried using other greases and he broke a lot of wedge sets. Oh yeah, it was a big mistake. So just a little bit of grease. I'll normally.
So I'm sure you get them for Father's Day now.
But yeah, exactly. He's got 5-gallon buckets full of these things. So a little bit of grease from the top down. I'll just kind of spread a thin film on that side. Then on this side.
It's a smear.
It's German. It's gotta be smear.
And that's pretty much all the grease you need. In hard materials, you want to be doing every single split. In soft materials, you can get away with, 3 splits. In concrete, even 5. It just depends on how much forces the tool is under.
That must, if you don't have the grease in there, that must gall the hell out of it.
It'll make some god-awful noises. The tool will pop and ping and shake, and it's no good.
If we drill it, how deep will that go into the hole?
Okay, so this only has effective splitting depth of about 12 inches. However, the plug extends much further than the bottom of the feathers. That's to get you extra splitting distance, all right? So this guy needs about a 20-inch hole, 18, 20-inch. The C12 requires a 26-inch hole depth.
But does that go all the way to the bottom of the hole?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's 26, it'll be half an inch short of that.
Okay, so that is up in there.
Yeah, yep, yeah, this is actually, right now, the back of the plug is somewhere up here.
Okay.
Alright? Alright, let's plug it in and we'll go through the... Oh, when you start them up, always have the tool in the neutral position, okay? Neutral is right in the middle. You can kind of feel how it's a little sloppy. There's an F and an R on every command valve. F is obviously forward, R obviously reverse, but always start up in neutral. Alright, here we'll run one on the ground for you guys. So, right now with the tool in neutral, this isn't under any pressure. It's like 200 PSI, so I don't have to worry about standing here. So when we put the tool in the hole, we run it down. This thing's going to be traveling down under load. Get to the bottom. Now that unit's building pressure. That was the pressure-matic valve. That pop dropped it down to like 400 PSI, allowing me to walk over and switch this command valve under no load. You'll see when we're in the concrete, if you try to switch this under load, it's really stiff. And what happens is there's 2 little balls and a valve seat in there. And what happens is it'll slam against the valve seat and score the ball. So you want to tell the guys either wait until the pressure-matic valve pops and you got about 30 seconds to put the tool in reverse or neutral, or only switch it when it's not under load. Always keep an arm's distance away from the tool while it's working. Because this is soft material, I'm just letting it crack and then popping it back into neutral. So when you're shutting this off, you of course want it in neutral.
Does it matter which way you put it in the hole?
Yeah, so that gives me directionality. So basically, it'll crack in the direction of this top handle. That's where the crack will form. That's one of the great things about splitters. You get to actually determine where that line is. So let's say you were going, I had a structure, you know, right here along the edge, and I had to excavate rock or concrete straight down along it. You can get those lines connecting hole to hole without worrying about it traveling under the building. When guys are running these, if the hole isn't deep enough, if it's not straight, they're doing something wrong, the tool will pop, ping, tick, shake, vibrate, make some awful noises. If anyone ever calls you and is wondering about it, tell them they need to grease more and make sure that their holes are straight. As soon as that tool starts making a weird noise, I'm gonna walk over here and just very gently pop it into the neutral direction because it's going to be under load, so I don't want to slam it right into reverse because like I said, that'll be scoring the valve assembly in here. So you just kind of want to gently switch it once it's under load. Any noises, the tool comes out, we inspect the hole for hole depth, adequate grease on the wedge set, and hole straightness. Yeah, that's any questions about that's pretty much it.
Can you do a couple of those?
Oh yeah, I'll split all these up. Yep. Is this all coming out? This whole?
Yeah, at some point.
All right, yeah. So I'll try some of these angled this way to see if we can get them to carry. Being that they're so close to the edge, they might not, but we'll see. All right.
We didn't quite know where you
Yeah,
wanted
right
to.
on the drill.
Yeah, this will be interesting. That last one right there.
One right
Unfortunately,
to your left.
these two are.
They're not deep enough, are they?
Nah,
You didn't go in far enough.
they got.
Oh, darn it.
That's the company tool, so don't worry about it. It's not ours.
He did these though.
Yeah, let's hear those weird sounds you were telling us about.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this isn't mine, so. All right.
To me, it's about as
Fire it
simplistic
back
and
up.
easy as